years, I go to Jeff Tech and this program project, which is called Alice in Wonderland. My objective for my custom project was originally to go into Photoshop with 3 to 4 different pictures of myself and change the color of my eyes, hair, clothes, etc. But then I decided to change my objective, which was to go into Photoshop and make an Alice in Wonderland theme, and I would be using pictures of my eyes and inserting like a keyhole and then inserting scenes from the Alice in Wonderland movie behind the keyhole to make it look like it's what I'm seeing through my own eyes. Well, I was having difficulties trying to do that towards the end, so I changed my objective for the third and final time, and I changed it to putting scenes from Alice in Wonderland around my eyes that will have keyholes right like on the center of my pupil. My criteria was I will be using a photo of my eyes taken on an iPhone 6s, and I will integrate it into the DMA website. I will be using Adobe Photoshop, and PowerPoint will be used to make slides of my progress when I'm working on my project. My task list items were 1001, create a document in a format appropriate for electronic distribution, and I will be doing so by turning my Photoshop file into a JPEG. 504, manage the various file types. I will do this by organizing all my Word documents in Photoshop files. 404, create presentations using presentation software, in which I use PowerPoint to show my progress of my project and to tell what my project is about. 102, follow safety rules when working with equipment, and I did that by making sure I'm handling the equipment carefully and making sure that I'm not tripping over any cords in the process. 1401, communicating with others, peers and others about design and content plans, and I did that by having multiple people look at my project so they can tell me what I need to do to add or take away to make my project better. My detailed equipment was an iPhone 6s and a Dell computer, which was A181 054 ITA7. My criteria for this project was that I will be using a photo of my eyes taken on an iPhone 6s. That's another twice. Whoops. I messed up. Okay. Anyways, here's my original production timeline, since I had to change it all in the end. On September 14th, I was supposed to start the process of looking for graphics and looking up information for the PowerPoint that I made and for my original project altogether. And September 16th, I was supposed to finish picking out graphics for the project and start editing them onto Photoshop and research effects I can use for the project, take screenshots of the PowerPoint I'm making to show my progress. September 19th, continue to add graphics onto Photoshop, as well as starting to edit some things like text, and then update my PowerPoint. September 22nd, watch Photoshop tutorials on Online Expert, and then continue that on the 23rd and the 26th, and then on the 26th, start my labs. And I had the same thing for the 28th, and then on September 29th, I continued with my labs. October 3rd, I would do research on Lightroom, and October 5th through the 21st, start production on my product, get peer review on the 17th, and keep updating my PowerPoint. And then on October 22nd, make the final touches on my project. And now here's my final production timeline. September 7th through the 13th, I worked on forming my custom project plan. And then September 13th, I worked on revising my custom project plan. September 14th, I finished my custom project plan by updating and fixing things, and also finishing my educational resources and production timeline. September 15th, I took my pre-assessment for Online Expert for Photoshop and also started the training videos for Session 1. September 16th, I continued to watch my training videos for Session 1. September 20th, I finished my training videos and labs, then continued on to start the post-assessment. September 23rd, I worked on my post-assessment more, and September 26th, I finished my post-assessment. September 27th, I worked on the production of my project. September 28th, I continued the production of my custom project. This is my final production timeline continued. September 30th, I finished my training videos for Online Expert Session 2, not Session 1, I'm sorry about that. October 5th, I started watching training videos for Session 2 even more of Photoshop on Online Expert. October 6th, I continued to watch the training videos. October 7th, I finished the training videos for Session 2 of Photoshop. October 10th, I finished my labs for Session 2, and then October 13th through the 14th, I worked on the production of my project. This is what I started off with my custom project. Basically, I took a profile picture that I made for the DMA website and just used that as a template to get me started. And then what I continued to do later on down the road was I inserted a background, a quote, and then started adding the graphics in there that I needed. And then in the process of it, I started even adding more pictures and changing the shape of the pictures and things like that. And then in the end, this is the final product for now. And what I mean by for now is that in the future, I would like to fix it to make it what I originally planned. Like I said in my second objective, I want to make it seem like what I'm seeing through my eyes. And since I didn't figure it out this time, I want to try and figure out how to do that later on down the road, like look it up and things like that. So that's my custom project, and I hope you liked it. And I'll see you next time.